How about now? Okay. Well, that's weird. Anyway, what I was saying was, welcome back. Part 21. It was part 20 last time. Thought it was part 19, so we didn't celebrate part 20, but we can celebrate it now. Happy 20 streams. Woohoo. Okay. I am not 100% sure why. You couldn't hear me before. Obviously, I could fix it, but there's no reason why you shouldn't have been able to hear me. Uh, Whatever. All right. So, um, back to the app. Let's get started. Oop, what did I just do? Where'd my... Oh, jeez. I just lost, my ability to see files because I dragged this around by mistake. There we go. Whew. Okay. So, before we go any further, I was testing the app out on a physical device and came to the conclusion that the font size was just a little bit too small. So we're just going to bump this from 20 to 24, and I think that should make a pretty nice difference. Oh, that might be a little bit too big. 22. Maybe that's a little bit more reasonable. Still haven't quite thought of a way to make the screen a little bit less cramped, but that's all right. So last time we were able to create meals. Oh, we should have the brand under this. Food selection. I keep forgetting that like the brand stuff is a thing because it's all you know, test garbage. If food dot brand doesn't equal null. I would love to know if this is nullable, but the Dart analyzer is taking a minute. Come on. There we go. And we'll need this left centered. And we should go back to our nutrition controller. And when we load in foods, we need to start adding a name. Okay. So let's even do it over here. I think this kind of information is important. We could make the brand name a little bit smaller because then who cares? Nutrition journal. And yeah, we just put that in here. This should also be expanded with an enable tooltip clip. And food brand, if food brand isn't null. Okay. This should also be expanded. Okay. All right, that looks a little bit better. I almost want this to be the brand maybe to be a little bit faded out. So like a secondary text color, which we don't have. So let's do secondary text. Oop. Secondary text. Secondary text. Wish I didn't have to write this 1,000 times. And secondary text. Okay. And now when we go into here, we have to define some secondary text. And I think gray is pretty good. So if we restart, we can get the brand just a little bit faded out. And so, you know, you'll see like potato chips and then Lay's, or tomato soup and then Campbell's. Since we love our tomato soup here. Every time I see this, it kind of looks like a face to me. Like, oh, you know? Maybe we'll let you do maybe we'll get rid of the decimal if you don't actually have a decimal. How about that? So meal history. That way it doesn't have that like face. Do you see that too, or is it just me? Oh yeah, there you go. Yep, exactly. That's the face. Oh, also in my YouTube chat, let me just pin my Twitch. MB, do you want to like quickly say something in the Twitch chat so I can just mod you real quick? Sorry, in the YouTube chat. That's what I meant. Hello. Okay. So you are now a managing mod. Congratulations. Okay. So now I think if you say something, you get a fancy new banner or something like that. Maybe like a highlight. Yes, you are. Um, what was I doing? Oh yeah, the numbers, which I pulled out to here, serving selector. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. So let's go to serving string. Okay. And if I make this like 0, it pulls it down to an integer. Perfect. That was very easy. I was gonna do a whole complicated thing where I figure out, you know, if using like modulo and shit, seeing if there is a remainder when you divide it by like 1. But this is easier. I don't know if it's more efficient, but it's certainly simpler. And this should realistically be so fast that, you know, it would never matter. So good job, ChatGPT. Ooh, interesting. We'll need to enable tooltip clip here. And some more tooltip clip here. And we don't even have brand names here. So we'll want that as well. And color will be of secondary text. We don't already have app color scheme in there? Yeah, I thought we did. Oh, apparently we did not. Okay. And for some reason this gets a higher thing. Not sure why I did it that way. Okay. So today we were going to work on our search bars and things like that. Let's also get a sorting thing shoved in here. So suffix. And then in the food selection. Okay. There. Okay. So back to meal history. So This is going to be a little bit interesting, because there are a lot of ways we could go about getting search to work and things like that. Um, so did I ever end up making, yeah, so I made meal list entries here, which is a little bit, where is this used? Let's call these journal entry really quick. Nutrition journal entries. Take your time, VS Code. It's okay. Come on. Hello? VS Code, you okay? I can do it again. Okay, now we're fine with it immediately. Fantastic. All right. So there are a lot of ways that we could do this, as I said. So we could sort of create an intermediate object, which acts as sort of something for the filter controller that we end up building to kind of chew on. So it sort of takes the class object, so in this case, like a food or a meal, and sort of converts them into like an easy to go through map. That might be pretty good to go that way. The only annoying thing is then when you go back around, the what do you call it? You have to kind of bring it back out of that like intermediate object, to sort it. And we also have effectively two lists here, right? So we have foods and meals. Actually, there's too much spacing there. Hold on. Hold on a second. Getting distracted. There. That looks a little bit better to me. Okay. Doesn't really help our cramp problem though. Okay. So collapsing these two lists kind of will be a bit tricky. So when we search, it kind of needs to filter for both. What we could do is if you type, it kind of turns into a big master list of both foods and meals sort of interlaced. I don't know if I like that much. I almost kind of want it to just kind of respect meals and foods just down the list this way. So I guess we'll give that a try. So now the question is, do we kind of run up two filter controllers in the background, or each dealing with foods and meals, or do we do a master, like one filter controller that can do both, and then we still sort it at the end anyway, given it shouldn't technically matter, given sorting indexes? I'm leaning towards doing 2 because if we can reuse the food one later. Hmm. And meals is like a collection of foods, so you may want to like type in pasta and then still have like your Italian meal come up, things like that. I think that's what we'll do. So back in info, we're gonna do list entries, which I guess we can sort of move this in here. Nutrition journal entries. No, let's call it filter entries. That way we know it's sort of different. So we'll do food. Food filter entry. So we'll do a final late food. We don't care any about that at all. And then we'll have a master class of filter entry, and we can just define that down here for now. So this should be an abstract class. So I guess we'll want a list of strings, and we'll call them headers. And then maybe a to map kind of deal. And then how about a dynamic get value. And the to map can kind of be like that. We could also add a caching mechanism, but I think that would be getting a little bit too far ahead. We'll also want something for super.headers. No associated names, super constructor parameter. There we go. And let's add that return type of not food, of dynamic. Does the mothball code base have anything for isolates yet? Okay, cool, we do. All right. So we're gonna want to run all of our filter stuff in an isolate so we can get maximum performance. But let's do name here, and so then return food.name. And you know what, let's leave that alone for now. Okay. I guess that should technically be enough to get started on a filter controller? Question mark. Okay, so filter controller. I guess we'll just name this filter. So this is the class, filter controller. Okay. And it will take in a list of t extends filter entry. So a list of t. So we'll do entries. Okay. And how about we just start off with let's do sorting. So sort. We're gonna have quite a bit to do here. This is gonna be a complicated thing. So we'll do init isolate. Isolate controller. Isolate controller. Well, I guess we can just grab one immediately. Isolate controller doesn't have an unnamed constructor? What do you mean? Ah, yes, okay. Isolate controller. If isolate controller doesn't equal null, and let's just do let's do that. Otherwise, we'll grab isolate utils. And we'll do a spawn. With a task. And this can be, is this a future? No. Void isolate main. And isolate controller. We could throw that in there. Oh, and this has to be awaited. Okay. And debug name. We'll do filter controller. Or the T-type. Okay, and then this needs to be a feature. And we always init and isolate. I don't remember if I buffer the stream. Is that something that I do? Why do I even do that? Well, we'll mess around with that later, I think. Okay. And let's do something like this. Isolate refresh. Where we init the isolate. Does this... I can't recall whether or not this is blocking. I think it is. So we'll do a command. Call that command. And this should really have been future or void. There we go. Oh, hey, Oglethorpe. What's up, man? How you doing? We're building a filter controller right now to filter our foods and meals. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so we'll need, let's do like a refresh data command. Refresh data. Okay. If data changed, Um, if data changed, then we will want to await send isolate data. I guess we'll move this up here. Throw this all the way down. And then we'll do send isolate data. We'll do refresh data, and then we'll want to do a receive. Which should be a string, which we'll do read back. So let's do instead receive. Let's change these again. How about send isolate entries? So refresh entries. 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 Entries changed. Okay. And future void receive isolate entries. Async, and then we'll pass in the controller. Oh, also this needs to be in a forever going while loop. Okay. Yep, so we'll want to send refresh entries. And let's make this a key. Refresh entries key. Refresh entries. And this can really be final. Maybe we'll even make them static. Here we go. I think it kind of has to be static anyway, if I recall. Okay. Unexpected callback. Sorry, read back response from isolate. Expected. Refresh keys. Received. There we go. Okay. Getting there. And now we will pretty much want a giant map. I suppose. So let's get a list of maps. And this shouldn't be growable. And we will now send the entries map. And then we'll send back done. Okay. And we'll actually want another class called filter isolate controller, where this gets the isolate controller. This is, yeah. There we go. And we can just throw this in there like that too. Oh, it should be dynamic. And we add these to there. So all the way back up here, we're going to want to build our controller. There we go. Okay. I think that's some... I think we should now theoretically be able to send in some stuff. Okay. Let's rename these. So I actually wanted to everything to start with isolate. So isolate receive entries. That way it's all kind of broken down, so we can always just look for the isolate methods. And I suppose this actually has to be isolate init. Okay. So I guess this is a good screen as any to test this out. So let's do a filter controller. And for entries, we can do that. Let's hard code the headers here. And then we'll ask it to sort it. For now, just when we click on this. Tap. Okay. Okay, list dynamic is not a subtype of string. Okay. It's because we're not awaiting. There we go. Cool. Received 2 entries from me. Awesome. Okay. Not too bad. All right. So we refreshed our entries, but now we sort of need to make a map of how we want to handle filters. So for instance, you know, we have a header key. We'll want to be able to inform the isolate of like which headers should be sorted like ascending versus descending, things like that. So so we did send entries and receive entries. So let's do future void isolate send filters. And we could grab this almost exactly. We'll remove this part. Should really be filters map. These should no longer be refresh entries. It should be refresh filters. Okay. Filters changed. Refresh filters. And I suppose we'll want to build a big filter map, right? I'm pretty sure it won't let me send a class over the isolate, so we'll have to keep it to just primitives. So I guess a map again is how we'll want to structure it, right? So we'll do something like string for the header, and then another submap. So it would be like name, and then sort, and then we'll do like one is ascending, 0 or null is nothing. Here we go. Header. -1, 1 is ascending, 0 is no sort, -1, 0 or null. Okay. Yeah, I guess that'll work for now. Okay. So we'll want to do a thing where we build filters map. So I guess we'll do that down here. Build filters map. And I guess we'll grab headers. Let's do first or null. Then headers is this. What happened? Okay, there we go. Okay. Then we can do the same here. We'll do isolate receives filters, fresh filters. Okay. And we'll add that there. Whoa, what's going on? Okay. Oh, I had to re-init the isolate, or else it like literally had no idea what it was looking for here. Let's also just send like unknown command. Unknown command. There. Now that should break the loop when we get an unexpected read back. Filters. Let's say unexpected done response from isolate. After sending filters. Sending entries. Okay. Now we can actually go ahead with the sorting. I guess isolate controller send let's do instead static sort key. maybe for this part, we need to include, sorry, I suppose it's really this part. We need to include an index ID to be able to find it again. Because I suppose I'd want to just send back a sorted list of the indexes. Yeah, let's do that. Map indexed. Int I. Map, and then we'll want to add this, I suppose, index. How about just entry index? Let's call it entry index. Okay, and then I would expect a list of ints. So sort order. Sorted entries. Sort order map index. Okay. So future void isolate sort. Controller to list var entries. And for entries, we'll do a sort. This will be A entry. This will be B entry. Then we'll do for filter in controller filters. Dot entries. Okay. If this And then I guess if a value doesn't equal null and v value is null, then we'll return, then we'll do comparison 0, return comparison. Comparison is -1. Else yeah. Okay. Then we'll make a list called sort order, where we iterate. Is this necessary? Apparently. And we'll send back the sort order. Okay. Unexpected readback, expected sort, unknown command sort. Okay, we never actually added this part in. There we go. Cool. And let's just do that, and we'll actually make it so it sorts descending. So we should get food 2 and food 1 then. Nope. Oh, and then right, there we go. Then we gotta break the loop and make sure we invert that sort order. There we go. Now we get food 2, food 1. Perfect. Okay, that works pretty well for sorting. I think a couple times we called them headers. I kind of like keys. I think keys are better. Yeah, let's flip this to keys. Or key and keys. I think that makes more sense. So if I go all the way back to here, these are now called keys. Or key, key, key. Okay. sure that all still works. Sweet. Okay, that's sorting. I guess now we need one for searching. Well, why don't we first, actually hook this all together so that we could watch it all, sort through. So all the way up here, we have entries. So we should have filtered entries, which can start off as nothing. And let's also just add a very quick dispose. Where we kill it. Okay. Back here. We dispose of our food controller. Here we go. Entries. And we can do okay, this isolate should actually be private. Food controller, entries. Let's do a run all. How about that first? Future void, run all. Async. And we'll do a sort, which is a after filter, and then await after search. Okay. Food filter, run all. Let's pull this out, and then we'll do history body. If filter controller, food filter controller is filtering, then we'll return a centered loading indicator. Okay, and we'll also want tool is filtering. I suppose we'll want to start that at true. And filtering is now false. Is filtering. I was a little bit mistaken. This needs to actually future void sort async await sort and then say it's filtering false. There we go. That provides a nice little interface. And when this is done, we should call set state. There we go. Cool. And if it takes too long, we will run it again. Well, I guess we'll dispose and run it again. Async. Wait. This doesn't have to be constant anymore. Hey, Emby, if you're still there, could you get me my water bottle? I haven't had it in a while and my throat is getting pretty dry. Thank you. You don't have to knock. Okay. Thanks, dear. There we go. Much better. Ah. Okay. So this looks kind of ugly. So let's make this with a little bit more padding here on the top. Ooh, sorry, it should be only top. And let's say it's like 20% down the screen. There we go. And another thing we want to do is we will want to sort of keep the last like filtered stuff. So after we filtered our entries, you know, we should only sort on the filtered ones. So let's do filtered entries. This can be nullable. So let's go back over to here. And we'll pull this out and we'll call it controller entries. Controller filtered entries. And if that is null, we do that. There we go. We should no longer need this anymore. And for we're not actually sorting on anything. Like we're not actually displaying this sort that we have here. So let's actually pass in foods from up top. We could still do this here, but I want widget filtered foods. Well, we can do food filter controller. And then filtered entries to food. And we'll know that this is, let's say this can't be null actually. How about that? Oh, I never even said that it could be, so we're all good. So let's pass that in. And if I were to reload, we get nothing. Cool. So sorted entries should be filtered entries. And we'll make that growable just in case. So if I go back, nice. And if I set the sorting to -1 for food and brand, we should get food 2 and food 1. Perfect. So far, so good. Um, okay. All right, so I think we can now work on getting this little button to play nice. Where even is that button? Gotcha. Okay, and we should probably actually move this out of here. Even though I didn't really want to, but I think that's the wise move. And we'll say that this should also be a custom overlay widget. So we can wrap it like that. Custom overlay, tooltip, sort. Alignment is bottom left again. And we'll need this guy. So let's do this right here, and we'll just add a placeholder for now. I would have thought that would show a placeholder. No? Is it because it... Why isn't it showing one, actually? Okay, well... Let's go ahead and make a... filter sort overlay. Filter sorting button. Filter sorting button. Let's go with that. I guess this can be stateless as whatever. Filter sorting button. We can go ahead and rip this whole thing out and put it in here. And grab app color scheme. And we'll grab a filter controller. Ah, that's why it wasn't working. I had it on tap here. Adaptive icon. There we go. Color. Actually, that should have been obvious. Yeah, we don't need that. We'll add in here our filter sorting button. Final, double icon scale. This can just be 1. And icon scale. Okay. Okay, icon scale should be 1.6 with the rest of them. And we will want to get a list of keys. So we'll do keys. And then keys. There we go. And let's sort the keys. And let's return a container, which is containing a column. And we'll do keys, map, string key. We'll do a row where we return the key. Let's do widget, sorry, text scale. We throw up top. We are way out of the playlist again. Apparently we've just been listening to a bunch of Honkai music, which is cool, but there we go. Man, I'm getting hungry. Keys. Let's test that out. Okay. And we'll grab from filter controller, the actual filters. I suppose we never saved that anywhere. Filters, return filters. This should be a map, string dynamic. Okay. So now we can grab filters. We can grab a key. And we can grab sort. If sort equals 1. Else if sort equals -1. Then we can do icon data sort icon. Hey, come on. There we go. And if sort icon isn't null, we can do sort icon. Let's set these all to 1 so that we can see. Okay, cool. Okay, back to 0. I guess this should actually... It kind of feels stupid, but I guess it should be a list view. Stupid as that sounds. Keys dot length. We don't care about the context. Let's grab all this again. There. And we will want a divider. Cool. And we'll shrink wrap that. Then we'll add, how about another row? Ooh, I can smell the cooking. It smells good. How about reset all? And apply. No size. What if I set this to minimum? Because I don't really want it to have a size. It's not due to the width, right? It's due to the height. Yeah, I thought so. This should be shrink wrap, so why is there such a weird amount of spacing there? Let's do 500. That's kind of strange. Why would it do that? Was I better off just making it a column? Given it's shrink wrapped, I would think it wouldn't really need any of this stuff. There's even a lot of space up top here, which is very weird. Let's pull open a widget inspector. There's nothing indicating to me that it should be spaced out like this. I suppose just to keep moving, we should go back to looping through our keys. And we can add the separation in by, I think, what's the problem? Okay. By adding in, like, expand? Not expand, bold? Maybe it is expand. There you go. Const divider. Okay. Just make that E. Yeah, oh, that was fine. Okay, and we'll have to add a maximum width. So we'll grab the longest key, string, sort key, longest key. Do max width. Please stop asking me about making the keys non-nullable. You know what? Keys equals keys. There. Nope, seems we have to do it that way. Get text width. Get width of text. Context. Thank you, dear. Text, longest key. Okay. Then we'll add some stuff for the icons. Um, okay. So we'll just multiply it by... Nope, we'll do the same thing. But we'll do icon scale. We'll also want to add reset all and apply here. Okay, and you know what, then we'll just double. Okay, and these are really async text buttons. Three times then, how about that? We'll do space between. We'll add some padding. Get width and get height. Okay. We'll add some decoration. And a nice border. Okay, we'll wrap all this in an inkwell on tap. Needs to have a material behind. And we'll do new sort. And we'll do filters, key, sort, new sort. Um, Guess we could make that just full on out there. And for these, we'll go filters. There. And this will be filter info. Close the menu. And filter run all. Oh, and when we do click on this, we will call set state. Okay. This could be a set. What is it? Set state thing. State setter. State setter. Void callback. Close menu. Okay. Hey, Olex. Dude, you showed up at like the last second. We're about to get off in like 2 minutes. But hey, buddy, how's it going, man? Yep, yep. You always have the perfect timing. Everything good with you, Olex? Still consuming ridiculous amounts of beef? Oh, cool, man. 400. Is that with your like still ray tracing thing on? Fourth pound of ground beef today. Nice, nice. Very cool. Uh, in a second, if you'll let me, I'll show you around what we've got so far. Since it's been a while since you popped in. So you may remember the original nutrition journal from like way at the start. You can now have total and goals, which gives you some nice little pie charts, which you can click into, get some data from. You go ahead and, you know, create any sort of meal or food, add whatever nutrients, create whatever foods, create whatever meals, go over to line graphs and you can graph your calories and protein, you know, over time. And that's pretty much all we're up to. Right now I'm creating a big filter controller to filter sort of anything I want, regardless of what it actually contains. It's this whole thing over here. That'll be in there. That'll be in there. It'll be kind of like what's that thing, like Duolingo, where why not a moth? It'll just kind of a moth will pop up and just yell at you every couple of days. So let's do filter callback. If not mounted, return. Okay. Filter callback. Call. Where's happy sort? There it is. And void callback. Filter callback. There we go. And in dispose, we're gonna wanna drop that reference, I think. Do I? We should also set this to null. There we go. So then if I call dispose, let's make an actually dedicated reset button. How about this? And filters have changed, and so has entries. And if this changed, we'll also say filters changed. Ah. Well, seems it is time for the stream to end. After this bug. Hold on. One moment. Ooh, what happened here? What a helpful error. Thank you for ending. You're welcome. Object is unsendable. Motherfucker, I never asked you to send it. I never asked you to send it. So why are you sending it? Do all of these secretly need to be like static? And is that why? I think they all needed to be static. That way, technically, I'm not sending anything. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, it's... Ah, I see. Here we go. I think. Um, okay. There we go. Now I can end the stream. Filters work. Okay. Goodbye everyone. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you Olix for stopping by. Sorting is now done. All right, I'm starving. I'm gonna go eat some tacos. Bye bye.